Hey guys, it's your humble host, or Kyo if you prefer, so I'm back with another video. This time it's with more documents for the FamilyOFive series. I've been given some new information that I can share with all of you. A few things I want to point out. So anyone who's familiar with family law, it is different per state. They list things differently. Some states actually combine them. Now, a couple things I'm going to debunk because I've been trying to tell people this for the past week or so. When it comes to the charges of Michael and Heather Martin, they were never charged with physical abuse. They were never charged with sexual abuse. They never took a plea deal. The charge never became a lesser charge. There's no documentation for that whatsoever. And they were also accused of one thing that came up as unsubstantiated. I hate that word. Anyway, so we're going to look at what's indicated first, which is neglect. Now, let me also explain that there are two counts of neglect. There's one for Cody, and that's the medication. And then there's one for Emma, which has to do with what videos got posted online. So here is the indicated neglect for Michael. As you can see, they're listed differently. Neglect. Physical abuse is not marked. Sexual abuse is not marked. Mental injury is not marked. Just neglect. Indicated, meaning they are being investigated for it. You are the person found responsible for indicated or unsubstantiated child abuse or neglect. Or, big key word, you will receive a separate notice regarding your right to appeal. So, there's Michael's. Now I just saw Heather's because these are a little bit, there we go. So here's Heather's. This, again, neglect is indicated. Notice the indication mark. Physical abuse, not indicated. Sexual abuse, not indicated. Mental injury, not indicated. Make sure you guys can see this. Are you guys paying attention? Because I'm about tired of this shit. So let's move on to what is substantiated. Okay? Mental injury. So this is notice of investigation closing and referral for services. Mental injury. Unsubstantiated, meaning there is no evidence for it. Shocking, I know. So that's for Heather. This is for Mike. Unsubstantiated. I'm talking like this because I'm tired of people arguing with me. It's not about me being right. It's about the facts. People want to accuse me of exploiting these children, and you can actually find a copy of this folder in the Martin Google Drive for your viewing. But people want to accuse me of this and that. No. I'm only doing this to show what really happened, and because I messed up majorly. And because I was led to believe BS. Okay, so let me also point out too, because I'm going to bring attention back to this video, because I feel a lot of people are ignoring it. JMartin put out a video of behind the scenes. One of these behind the scenes clips that you'll see in his video, check description below, is of the gun prank. Because I had people thinking that Michael had a gun, never had a gun, and that he threatened to kill Rose with it. And this is what he pointed at the children in that prank. That's an airsoft gun, you idiots. So anybody who's actually held an airsoft gun, or even a freaking BB gun, airsoft more than likely will does this, is that they actually craft their guns to look like the real thing. Now, a lot of states do require that orange tip that shows, hey, this is a fake gun, this is not the real thing, but that's not really enforced. And I've seen a lot of airsoft guns that look realistic that do not have that orange tip. And this is the case with that video. It wasn't a real gun. Again, go watch the video. Jake explains, especially with that gun prank. Go watch the entire thing. Also, Michael never threatened to kill Rose. Again, he didn't have a gun. And as from the text messages, if people actually went through those and read them all the way, you would see that Rose has a pattern of behavior of self-harming herself and threatening to do so in front of others. She did this in front of Michael when she was pregnant with, I believe, Cody. And then she had threatened to cut her own arm in front of Cody because he was acting like a psycho. She kept calling Cody a psycho. There's evidence of this in the drive. And, I'm not going to sit here and spoon feed you guys and to the people who have actually gone through the drive and gone like, oh my God, what the heck? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about the dum-dums that I'm having to keep arguing with and act like I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm not a legal expert. I'm not any of those things. But there is evidence to show that a family was wrongfully destroyed, and then Rose kept making up crap about how they were charged. I just showed you the documents. They were never charged with physical abuse. They were never sure as shit charged with sexual. Especially, here's another reason why I'm doing this. So for those of you who have been paying attention, particularly to JMartin, he's been trying to dip his toes in music. He does rap, and whoever does his graphics is actually pretty cool. Not a fan of rap, but anyway, that's beside the point. He's been trying to branch off into his own. The Michael and Heather are not trying to come back. The reason why this is being done, so Jake, Ryan, and Alex, if they want a shot at YouTube, they can do so without having the BS from 4 to 5 years ago keep thrown in their face. You know what Rose Hall did? Rose Hall tried to Me Too Jake and his father, Michael. Jake never touched either Cody or Emma. Michael never touched Cody and Emma. Again, they were never investigated for sexual abuse. Michael and Heather, and then Jake sure as hell wasn't investigated for shit. It never happened. Otherwise than that, you would see it indicated on that document and then being investigated. So when I tell people, hey, you got your facts wrong, it's because I have stuff to back it up. You are dead wrong about this. And another thing, I'm not going to shut up. Even if this costs me my channel, which I very suspect it possibly will. And you know what? Social media is social media. Yeah, it would suck because I'm also doing other stories on here and I'm still helping with Save James. So, but at the same time, it's temporary. I've been telling people for years how temporary this all stuff is. Now, one of the charges of neglect, if I have not gone over it again, was the stupid medication situation. And again, so child neglect, Cody, on down. So appealing, so this is about the medication. When the officer arrived at our home, I was at work. My husband was the one at home. At that time, he just told the officer was getting them from school. He did not request any medication. It wasn't until we were already at the courthouse filing counter motion for ex parte that the officer called my phone. On the way to the courthouse, our attorney contacted Mrs. Redacted about the medication and the children needing it. She provided no way for us to get to them. There is a letter between Heather Martin and her lawyer specifically detailing how Tim Conlon refused to reach out to Heather Martin's lawyer or even respond. I had no service in the courthouse when the officer called it, and it was from a blocked number. He asked me if the kids could come to the house to get some of their stuff, and I told him I was not home because we were in Frederick at the courthouse, but he could call me back when I lost connection, and he never called me back. When we were seen by the judge, we again brought the medication. The children needed it, and she said that Rose was on her way to North Carolina with the children, and our attorney could call Conlon, her attorney, which our attorney did twice before we even left the courthouse. She also followed up Monday when Mrs. Redacted came to get the medication. Mike gave her their daily things with the medication. I was not home, and she did not ask him for the bottles. So again, twice. Freaking twice. It was later known that I refused to give them medication. At the final hearing, I brought clothes, toys, the medication, as well as a full manual about the kids. They're past their doctor's diagnoses and contact numbers. I went out and purchased new shoes for Emma to accommodate her braces. This is a bogus charge. How can I provide medication to a police officer that is at my house if I am 30 minutes away from the courthouse in Frederick? I can give you a copy of my phone record when the call came in, and it can be matched to the time that I was at the courthouse. So thanks for your response to my email regarding Mrs. Hall's YouTube page. Oh, so this is... Oh, okay, let me show you this. On a separate note, I want to confirm that I told you in court regarding the children's medication. Oh yeah, this is a letter. In our attempts to get them to Miss Hall on the day she got emergency custody of the children. The police officer who took the children called Mrs. Martin from an unknown number. She answered the phone and told the officer she was not home to meet him because we were at court trying to get a protective order to prevent Mrs. Hall from taking the children because of her history of exposing the children 2, redacted, her inability to care for them given, redacted, and her prior, redacted, she asked to call her back and he did not. On my way to court that Friday, Mrs. Martin and I spoke with a redacted, and I mentioned the medication issue to her. It was my understanding that Mrs. Martin had given her a list of the children's medications and dosages when they first met. When we were in court, I asked the judge how to get the children the medications, and she mentioned that Mrs. Hall was being represented by Mr. Conlon. The judge also told us that she allowed Mrs. Hall to take the children to North Carolina for the weekend, but they needed to be back on Monday. As soon as I left court, I called Mr. Conlon's emergency line, spoke with someone who answered the phone, and left him a message to call me about the medications. I waited at the courthouse with the Martins because I presumed he'd call me back immediately. 15 minutes later or so, I left him another message about the medications and told him to call me anytime over the weekend. We assumed, incorrectly, unfortunately, that the children were halfway to North Carolina by then and we would get the meds to them on Monday. Since Mr. Conlon never called me back, I emailed, faxed, and mailed him a letter on Monday. You have a copy of that letter. Tell him to contact me about the children's personal items. He never responded to either. The first time he contacted me was the day of the hearing. As you see from the children's medical records from the time they were in Mrs. Hall's custody, she frequently did not medicate them, oh crap, and did not fill the prescriptions. Double oh crap. We were not certain what her intentions were when she left North Carolina with the children. Quite frankly, we were surprised to hear that the children were back in town on Monday. Ooh. I know that the DSS report indicates that the Martins did not cooperate in getting the children the medication, but I want to make you aware of the efforts to get the children their medication, and I find it questionable that Mr. Conlon chose to ignore all of my attempts to contact him about his issue. Thanks, redacted, redacted, lots of redaction. Okay, so, for those of you who remember Tim Conlon and what he was trying to do, because he took this case, pro bono. So, and that was what he first told us, and then he had threatened to try to sue Google later, which was a fucking joke. So he was doing this for the fame, and that's why he kept leaking stuff to Joy, even though he's told us that he wasn't, because Joy was the loudest one of us at the time. I'm not saying that in a bad way about her. So Hall kept spreading all these lies. Because Rose was telling us crap, and then we'd put videos out about it. And so Michael and Heather Martin tried to put something in to shut Rose up. Not because it was because she was telling lies. And I've shown you proof of those lies being debunked. So again, if it has not been said already, one of the lies was that Michael had a gun and was pointing at the kids during that prank, and he tried to kill Rose with it. Going back through the text messages, Rose was the one that had the troubled and patterned behavior. She's the one that had threatened to cut herself open, her arm, and even did so. So again, people are trying to claim that I do this for exploitation. No, you're out of your freaking minds. If anything, I've been trying to get back to my own stuff for weeks. Even if it's a shitty little story, I've been trying to do my own craft for weeks. Until I got this email, and I'm not mad at Heather for emailing me. I'm just noting my frustration. And so if people think I'm doing this for some sort of relevance or anything like that, you do realize that my channel pretty much got choked after DaddyOFive. Because it had such an embarrassment for YouTube, because the way it was handled and because the way it's being portrayed, which let me also state here, the videos themselves are a mixed bag of exaggerated, fake, and the children acting out. If you actually take the time to watch the videos, because there's now several DaddyOFive archive channels, all of the children were in on the pranks. All of the children came up with the pranks. You know, a bit of irony I find in my comments section on some of these videos. Some people think that the emotional, raw videos are acting, but the kids throwing a shit fit aren't. It amazes me. And people saying, well, you can't coach a child to panic or they don't act that way. Stand with Sophie. For anybody who's been following that garbage fire or that dumpster fire, yeah, no, it's actually been proven coming out that Michael did coach Sophie. So, and I'm not covering that. Perfect example, go dig into it. Because, as I had mentioned in my video of Michael Long titled A Fraud, got her to the point where she was screaming and crying and panicking. There was text messages that came out, and Annie Elise, 10 to Life, actually released these between her and Courtney Chalmers, which is the wife, excuse me, because I called Courtney Chalmers my last video fiance, of Michael and Sophie having text message conversations to almost 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning. So, to my knowledge with that, from what I heard last, Sophie wasn't with Michael Long anymore. But it's a whole shit show. It really is. I'm not touching it. I'm not covering it. But that is a perfect example. So, and Michael keeps trying to create all these groups. And all these groups are now in lockdown. It's a bunch of bullshit. And anyway, so that, the truth will come out. I've gotten a bit of it. And I just, like I said, I still have everything. I even snapped up those text messages. So that's a perfect example of you coaching a kid to freak the hell out. Now, granted, over something that was really severe, and I really think it's really effed up that he did that to her. Anyway, but going back to the stuff with the Daddy 5. Here's another reason why I'm doing this too. So, again, my channel could possibly get freaking wiped for doing this. But it's also for the Martin boys. Jake, Ryan, and Alex. For those of you who've been paying attention to JMartin, he's been dipping his toes into music for quite a while. Rap, and he's actually starting to release rap videos. Trying to cut this off here pretty soon. So, he keeps getting harassed. One of the videos you saw on the drive was Jake literally breaking down into tears over the ink prank, which was fake, exaggerated, and a mixed bag, as all the videos are. Again, let me also state by the videos, the videos were in poor taste. Let me say that again. Michael and Heather are not defending the videos. They did not realize the stir that they would cause and what it would look like to people. Which, by the way, goes back to one of the neglect charges, which, let me read here specifically, because I knew about one neglect charge for the medication. We should have used better judgment of what to post on the internet of our kids. Neglect charge 2. That's 2. One for the medication and for the videos that they didn't realize how bad they looked. Those are the neglect charges, people. So, going back to what I was saying about JMartin. He has been getting harassed, and especially seeing how Rose Hall tried to Me Too him and Michael Martin, his father, saying that they touched Cody and Emma. And let me also point out too, because that was bullshit. Let me also point out too, is that people want to focus, oh, Cody and Emma are the ones that got abused in the videos. No, if you actually watch other prank videos, because I'm starting to see more and more of them, again, it's content I will never put out. So, and that's no judgment, but even the Martins go, yeah, these were in poor taste. We should have thought a little bit better about this. But all the kids were in on the pranks. There's one video, and I've actually slowly been collecting, there's one video of Cody and Alex talking about pulling a prank on Heather, and Alex acting like his leg was cut open. So that's one example. There's a clown prank, which is also in the drive, of the kids getting panicked going, oh, let's do it to the next kid. So, and it starts off with Michael yelling at the kids about making the garage a mess. So again, all these kids were in on it, and the reason why you have sometimes the kids getting pissed off with each other, like you have videos of Alex being a total and utter butthead in some of them, is because what had happened was when the kids were doing a skit, some of the kids just wanted to do a normal vlog, while the others wanted to do a skit, so they'd ham it up, but it pissed off some of the other ones. So again, it was a mixed bag. Did Michael and Heather handle the videos the best way? Was it the best thing to do? No. Were they abusing the kids? Hell no. I just showed you the documentation. And they never had a physical abuse charge, they never had a sexual abuse charge, and they never took what's called a plea deal. A plea deal is to where you agree to be guilty to something, and you get a lesser charge because you're going to get charged with a less severe conviction. So again, there was no indication of them getting a lesser charge. None. And again, the reason why they pled guilty while maintaining their innocence was because they didn't want to drag out a big freaking custody battle. I just showed you the documentation, and I know I keep iterating that because I have idiots in my comment section. He keep going, oh, well, we hear this from Rose, or Michael tried to kill Rose with a gun, even though he didn't have a gun. It was an airsoft gun. Anyway, because I could sit here and rant all day, and I've been trying to do these videos with a little bit of finesse, but I'm at the point to where I just, for the most part, I don't care. I'm trying to handle this as best as I can. I don't want another hoopla. And it's something interesting, too, because I'm starting to notice, and I don't know why, certain things are starting to come back into the spotlight, or they're mentioned in regards to DaddyOFive. And it's the most weird timing, because I just watched a live stream covering something else, and DaddyOFive was brought up during said live stream. So I'm just like, oh, this is making me so uneasy. So I don't want any drama. The Martins don't want any drama. My goal for this is to show the truth of what actually happened, how the Martins were actually dealt with, so that way the boys, because Michael and Heather aren't really trying to come back. Heather still does TikToks, Michael's been starting to stream on Twitch, but they're not trying to come back and do prank videos. This is not the goal of this, at all. This is so the boys, especially JMartin, can pursue their own goals and, if not dreams, on YouTube themselves. So, and just kind of clear the family name, because it sucks. As I mentioned in my last video, it sucks watching your family get torn to shreds and not being able to do anything about it. I watched my family get torn to shreds growing up by several churches. And I was too young to go like, what the hell's going on? What is wrong with you people? Again, that's my own family business. But yeah, I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. Not to have like thousands and thousands and thousands of people do it, but still, enough people to go, I hate people. You know what I mean? No, I don't really hate people, but it's how you feel like after that. Anyway, so that is why I'm doing it. And I don't know if I've mentioned it before, because I've done a couple different takes of this now. I've been trying to do my own thing for weeks now, and I'm still helping with the Save James stuff, and I'm possibly going to do an interview with the dad, again, of Save Miles Gortz, Brenton Nets, before his hearing. As the last video I actually posted of those two, they came together and spoke. So, about if you can be a father in this day and age, considering what's going on. A little bit of irony with that, because when I first started to cover the Save Miles case, I tried to advertise it on the Save James page, and I had a lot of people get mad at me about it. Now it's just like ironic how Brenton and Jeff are like come together and talk about stuff. I'm like, I tried to alert you guys to this like months ago. Jeff knew about it for a while. And so did some other people, but we had a lot of people get pissy on the page. Oh my god, this is about James. Well, this is Save James, Save Thousands. Anyway, so that's what the last video is about, and that's what I'm still helping with. So if people think I'm just doing this DaddyOFive stuff willy-nilly, you're out of your damn minds. Because what I do on my channel now has an impact, and can have an impact on the other stuff that I'm doing. Like, you guys aren't putting A and B and C together. I have to be careful with what I'm doing. Yes, I can do whatever I want on my channel, and I've stated this also for legal reasons. I'm no one's agent. I do this on my own volition. But at the same time, because of what I'm a part of, and I'm not saying I'm this big, huge factor. No, far from it. But because of what I'm a part of, I stay out of a lot of stuff. Because number one, I don't want anything to do with it. Number two, I am careful with the way that I go about things now. Especially this. I don't want another drama fest. I don't want another hullabaloo. I see some of the old characters coming around again. I'm not going to fight really with anybody. I'm not going to stop talking about this. This is going to be a slow process. That's why you don't see a bunch of videos littered all over my channel about it. It's not like I'm out here screaming about anything. It is a slow process because it needs to be handled with as much tact and care as I can personally muster, and it has to be done in a sense to where it does not cause any legal trouble for Michael and Heather Martin. So that is why the videos have been released slowly. If I really wanted relevance and numbers and money and all this crap, you'd see me dumping videos like no one else's business on this, like covering every single document. You know how many documents are freaking in the Google Drive? How many videos I can do off of this? But I'm not going to. I'm someone who rather shows you where the information is and cover some things here and there, like I did with the Save James. Holy cow, that was a lot of documentation, but I didn't cover everything, and it's like, no, go read this stuff for yourself. Go see for yourself. I'm not going to spoon feed you everything. Decide for yourselves. And I'm doing the same thing here. So if people think I'm doing this for fun or for revenge or whatever, and some people called it a redemption arc, no, I'm doing this because the truth needs to be out there. A family was wrongfully destroyed, and also so the Martin boys can carry on in peace. I'm not one for rap, but Jake's pretty good at it. Anyway, that has been this video. If I acquire new information, or when I do, I will, tactfully as I can, go over it with you folks. And again, this folder is going to be in the copy of the Martin drive. So anyway, you guys have a good one, and please, something I'll encourage you is, like, if you guys can grab copies of everything, because I know people are already archiving a bunch of stuff video-wise, grab a copy of the Google Drive. That is my advice. So, you guys have a wonderful night, day, whenever you guys watch this, and I will continue to cover this as I see fit, and when I get a hold of information that I can share legally. Okay? Have a good one.